So I am a perfectionist, and I've always seen that as a positive trait because to me, being a perfectionist is being someone that is always wanting to improve. And when you're someone that is constantly improving, then you're someone that is constantly evolving. And if you're constantly evolving, then it means that you are improving your ability to survive. So one of my mottos has always been to be so good that you can't be ignored. And that's a quote by Cal Newport. So this mindset has led me to go from being a B student to an A student at a top 3 school in my state, teach myself how to edit videos, study venture capital and get a VC internship in LA, and get a full tuition scholarship to Howard University. Now, while this mindset has led to improvement and learning and periods of prosperity, it's also led to overthinking, inaction, verbal self-abuse, burnout, and suffering. So while having the desire to be so good that you can't be ignored is a positive trait and it can be productive at times, it can also lead to mediocre results if you don't channel that desire in the right way. A recent example of this has been me with my videos recently. If you've noticed, I haven't been posting as frequently, and part of that has been because I've been doing some traveling. I took a trip to London recently. It was like a school trip, and it was a really cool trip. It was my first time going abroad. I can make a video about it if you guys are interested. And I've also been working on a couple other projects too, both for myself and for friends. But really the main reason I haven't been posting is because I've been wanting to improve my storytelling, and I've been, I guess, working on it off camera. But to be honest, I haven't been satisfied with the results. And as a result, this led to basically a month of not putting out a video, which if we want to talk in a business sense, it means a month of less growth, less views, I guess, and basically less practice to actually do the format that I've been wanting to do. And so you can see how this could have been all avoided if I just allowed myself to not be perfect, if I just accepted that, yeah, I may put out a video and do it in a specific way, and maybe it's just not up to what I imagine it being, but that's fine because it's my way of testing it. But again, rather than just testing it, I didn't put out any videos. Humans punish themselves endlessly for not being what they believe they should be. They become very self-abusive, and they use other people to abuse themselves as well. Don Miguel Ruiz. That is an effing quote. Because look, if you're working on a project or just going through a situation and you aren't where you want to be, why are you punishing yourself? Why are you abusing yourself for not being who you want to be right now? Something that I'm starting to realize is that I already have everything that I need to have. And what I mean by that is I already have the power within me to be the person that I want to be, because I already am that person. I've been thinking about, because I'm going to make a video about how I plan to be a millionaire, and something that I've realized is I already am a millionaire. It's already right here. So it's the same thing with being a perfectionist. You're where you're meant to be. So stop trying to be perfect. No one can ever be perfect. So stop overthinking things, because again, you may not be able to write the perfect essay yet. You may not be able to film the perfect podcast yet. You may not be able to ask someone out in the smoothest way possible. You may not have the perfect gym routine. There are a lot of things there's a lot of things that we may not have the perfect version of. But again, there's never going to be a perfect version. There's just a best version of yourself. And the thing is, you already have that within you. All you have to do is just get out of your head and start and go through the process of evolution and get better. But you already have the power to do whatever you want to do. You have that within you right now. And so something that I'm realizing and something to take note of is to stop punishing yourself for not being who you want to be. Stop punishing yourself for not being perfect. You are where you need to be right now. So embrace who you are right now and put yourself out there. That's the main thing that you should be doing. So what I'm talking about right now is similar to what I talked about in the last video about waking up at 5 a.m. And if you remember from that video, I talked about the self-improver and the self-actualizer. And to really just make this easier, it's a thinker versus a doer, right? Have a doer mindset. Or even what I like to say, just have a creator mindset. Don't be a contemplator. So here are some examples of kind of the mindset shift and action. If you're waking up earlier, don't set the earliest wake up time, just start waking up earlier. If you're writing an essay and you're stuck, don't worry about the result, worry about finishing it and improve on the next one. If you're worried about asking someone out, don't worry about the perfect approach, just approach them. The way of improving is starting, iterating, and growing. Don't strive for perfection, strive for completion. So right now, to be honest, I'm not too big on step-by-step advice. I'm someone who has consumed a lot of content for years, and I have found that step-by-step advice just doesn't... You really need to test it, right? It doesn't always work for everyone. With that being said, I will introduce some steps that I use to stop being a perfectionist. For example, some of the steps that I'm going to talk about, I use them to film this video because, again, I need to just put something out and not wait another month to put out another video. So let's go through the steps. Number 1, take a break from active thinking. So this is really good if you're working on a project and you're stuck on it, because oftentimes when you are stuck on a project, you need to zoom out to gain context. And in order to have that ability to zoom out, you first need to take a break. So let's just say I'm working on an essay. Instead of continuing to try and figure out the essay and I guess get through writer's block, what I would recommend is to take a break, zoom out. And I think what people don't realize, including myself sometimes, is that even when you're not actively working on something, your brain is still working on the thing in the background. And I actually learned this from Barbara Oakley's book, A Mind for Numbers. She talks about the focus and the diffuse thinking mindset. And the focus mode is basically when your brain is focused on a singular task. So again, if you're writing the essay, then you're actively thinking. But then the diffused mode is when you're not working on a task and you're just letting your brain have room to think. So for example, this is why if you're in the shower, right, a lot of people get good ideas in the shower, and that's because you're letting your brain wander. And when you let your brain wander, it allows your brain to creatively think about problems in the background and really connect the dots that you couldn't figure out when you were actively thinking about the problem. And so this is why walking and meditation and journaling, all of these things are really good activities, because it allows your brain to, again, let your mind wander and make the connections in the background without actively working on the task. And so this is why breaks are so important. So if you're stuck on a specific task, zoom out, take a break, and trust me, when you get good at this, you're going to get good results. Number 2, zoom out and think big picture. What I've found is that when I am stuck on a particular task and I'm just like overthinking, it's usually because I don't have the proper context for the task. For example, I've had times where I've worked on an essay and I'm like, man, this has to be good, because if it's not good, then I won't get an A. But then in the big picture, it's like, how important is this essay? Like, really? So here's something to get you thinking. People expect progress, but they lack context. 3 months is 1% of 30 years. Stop expecting results now. Start, work, learn, grow. This is the way of the world class. So again, with that context, think about how important your task is, right? If I'm writing an essay for a class, okay, let's just say I get a B on the essay or a C, or even let's just say I fail a test. In the big picture, how important is that in my life, right? That's one test for one class. in 30 years, will I really care about a test that I failed? And look, I'm not saying this to, don't, say that, okay, I can fail tests, right? Kenya told me that I can be okay failing tests. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is the project that you're stuck on often isn't as important as you think. It may be important in the moment, but big picture, it's not that important. Because I know like a cliche is that life is short, so live it to the best of your ability. And although again I agree with that, right? Life is short, but to a certain extent life is long. Like you see people with 30 to 40 year careers. So the project that you are obsessing over, or that you feel like, man, my work just isn't good enough. I mean, number one, like your work usually is good enough, but number two, it's like the project isn't that important. It may feel important in the moment, but when you look back, you'll say, oh, this was just another thing that I completed. And I had that experience recently. I was editing a video for a friend. He's working on a really cool documentary. I'll put the link to it in the description. But I was working on a video for this friend, and I was on a deadline, and I was basically stuck on the video. And it got to a point where this video was taking up my weekend, and I finally said, you know what? This does matter to me, right? It's why I'm obsessing, because number one, I want to do well for myself, but also for my friend. And, I believe in the vision. But I also said, my work is good, so I'm going to give myself 2 hours to finish this. And if I'm not done, I'm not done. And when the 2 hours pass, I turned in my final product, and it ended up going well. My friend loved it. And what I thought was, not my best work ended up being good work. So that just shows the power of zooming out, right? Zooming out and contextualizing things. Being able to understand the context of things is a very important skill that goes beyond just perfectionism. And then the final step is to just start. And I know this is like the simple step, but it is the step that people don't do. It's the step that I didn't do for a month, and it is the most important step. Just start, because the most important thing is starting and getting feedback and just working your way up, because you have to get comfortable with starting things and putting things out there. Even if you don't think that it's your best work, you just need to complete it and get feedback for it. Feedback is the most important thing, whether it's from your teachers, whether it's from your managers, whether it's from the people that you are, for example, for me, making videos for. Feedback is the most important thing. So just start, aim for completion, get feedback, use that feedback to revise your process and get better. That's how to get over perfectionism, and honestly, that's how to win at life. So, in the spirit of not being a perfectionist, I will be posting regularly again, and when I say regularly, I mean weekly, so expect a video a week. And if you enjoyed this video, I created a custom playlist for you of some of my most engaging videos that have been liked by people from all over the world. I've been getting messages from like Ghana, Kenya, just all these amazing places recently. So check out that playlist, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check me out on Twitter too. I've been posting daily content like this. But yes, thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.